from them is let the game come. Don't try to force it, right? And you can kind of get into that sometimes as a young player, get into your head too much, but read and react with the defense. Arizona's a team that's going to get up and pressure BYU the entire 94 feet. They have to take care of the basketball, and BYU, they're going to look to establish that inside game with Emma Calvert, who's playing very well for this BYU Cougar team.
BYU's net ranking at 63 and Arizona at 82 as we are underway. Big 12 opener for BYU and Arizona. The Wildcats' first ever Big 12 conference game in women's hoops. And the Wildcats start inside. Layup is missed by Brea Cunningham, who had a good look, and BYU now with their first offensive chance.
Well, Cunningham at 6'4", she establishes that inside early, but a great defense. And you see, this is a fun matchup as we watch Emma Calvert for BYU and Brea Cunningham for Arizona. Very tightly matched up, similar in size, and they're going to try and count it as we see early.
Well, no doubt the Wildcats want to establish the inside game with Brea Cunningham, and she scores the first two. Now some extended pressure from the Wildcats as Jones picks up Gibb full court. Now BYU into their second offensive set of the game, trailing 2-0 as you see the starting fives for both teams on the bottom of your screen. Gibb looking inside, nowhere to go, finds Congdon as an outlet. Under 10 on the shot clock. Kemery Congdon doubled. Near steal, 3 on the shot clock. Dangerous pass inside to Amari Whiting, and I believe the whistle blew before the shot clock expired. Just a matter of how much time they might want to put back on the clock for BYU if it is BYU's possession.
They're going to put a little bit of extra time, but this might have to be a tip depending on how quickly they can get it off. If they have 1 second on the shot clock, you can catch and shoot, but it's got to be quick. Oh, 0.3. This is going to have to be a very quick tip.
The officials over to the score table awaiting 0.3 back on the shot clock. This gives us a moment to talk about what Arizona wants to do. They don't have an identity just yet, but they're hoping that they become one of the best defensive teams in the Big 12. And there is the quick tip. Calvert got it from Whiting. The defense got lost almost.
Well, they didn't even react. It was almost as if they didn't know the ball was handed to Whiting. So heads-up play from Whiting and Calvert to connect on that quick lob pass.
2-2. BYU catches a bit of a break there with the defensive lapse from Arizona.
Really good job defensively. BYU with that cross screen, allowing Calvert to recover, but what a shot from Williams. Jada Williams greatly has improved that outside shot. It's something she's really worked on in the offseason and shot the ball really well against Weber State on Monday.
Her coach uses a lot of words to explain her. One of them is gamer, and that is the shot from a gamer. Whiting called for a travel, trying for that Euro step, and guess who's making the defensive play? It's Jada Williams forcing the turnover. Taking a look at that shot with 0.3 on the shot clock for BYU, Kristen.
Brea Cunningham just not quite ready, knowing that the ball was already handed to Whiting, so she didn't have time to react. And Calvert keeping the ball high. It was a tip, as we mentioned, didn't have enough time to catch and shoot.
And a turnover given right back to BYU. This is an area where at times this season Arizona has really struggled. They average over 18 turnovers a game. That said, the last two specifically, they've taken really good care of the ball, just 10 and 9 respectively in 2 convincing wins.
With so many young players, it's a big part of the adjustment period, but you see they get it right back. They're forcing 20 turnovers a game because they are relentless with the pressure the entire game.
Skylar Jones coming up with the steal and the deal on the assist for some points off of a turnover. It's 7-2 Wildcats. About 2.5 minutes into the game. Kemery Congdon is bumped and fouled. That will be assessed to Paulina Paris.
And one thing that we typically see out of Coach Adia Barnes' teams as of the past is they are tough, they are gritty, they're blue collar. It's been a little bit more of adjustment to get that with this squad because you have so many young players, but it is coming, and you can see how they play with that tough physicality.
Calvert one dribble, while Congdon on the back door. She runs into Jada Williams, and Williams draws the offensive foul and then adds a little shimmy to let her bench know about it.
She plays with so much passion. Passion was the word that Coach described her as, and you see this is what she thrives off of, making big-time plays for her team, momentum builders with the charge.
Paris bounces up top to Bay. She'll hand out to Skylar Jones.
And Jones back in the lineup after missing on Monday with a foot issue. She's had some plantar fasciitis, but looks like she's moving well.
Jones, some frustration after getting to the hoop and missing the layup, reaches in on Calvert, who secured the rebound for BYU, and a foul charged to Jones. Second team foul for Arizona, just over 3 minutes into the first quarter. The Wildcats and their defensive pressure giving BYU some problems, and they have built a 5-point lead on the road.
And they limited the BYU to just one shot in these first 3 minutes plus, and they've done an excellent job defensively, just wreaking havoc. That pressure's going to be there the entire game.
Whiting working around the screen from Calvert. And Calvert going baseline. Wanted Davenport, but Davenport nowhere near the area where Calvert threw that basketball, and another early turnover by BYU.
Wildcats doing an excellent job, that second level rotation being there. So on the roll, as we saw with Calvert trying to make a play. Defense was there in time. Could have honestly been another charge. They were in the right spot at the right time. And so Arizona, good communication on that help.
Ball knocked out of bounds by Delaney Gibb. Some active hands from BYU's freshman. Arizona basketball on the sideline, 18 seconds on the shot clock. And trying to build on a 7-2 advantage early in this game. Paris. Bay cycles to Jones. Jones trying to go to Cunningham inside, double is there, but that leaves Williams open for three straight away. That's short. Offensive rebound grab by Bay, and the Wildcats will reset.
Arizona wants to create extra opportunities with their extended pressure, but also on the offensive glass. So another opportunity here because of the offensive rebound.
Bay, and that's going to be an air ball with the shot clock winding down. BYU basketball, so the Cougars get a couple of stops on that trip down the floor, give up an offensive rebound, but the score remains 7-2.
And that's the shot BYU wants to give up. Bay has not hit a three-point shot. She was 0 for 6 before she shot that one. Now 0 for 7 on the season. So BYU did their job in the half-court set of forcing the shot that Arizona took.
Gibb in trouble. And it's Jones again with the quick hands, but it'll stay with BYU. The Cougars fortunate to hang on to the basketball for the moment. Whiting to inbound, baseline left. Quick flip to Gibb. She tried to score it almost like an alley-oop, but didn't quite have control of the ball, and here comes Arizona. Paris signals a play. Off the screen from Cunningham, free throw line. Now to Williams, left corner three. Off the top of the backboard, still in play. Last touch by Arizona, and the scramble for a rebound, and it'll be BYU basketball again.
Arizona has missed 4 of their last shots. If you're Coach Barnes, get something at the rim. Either a touch inside with your big inside Cunningham or attack the paint. They're settling right now for some outside shots. As for BYU, they have 4 turnovers in the last 3.5 minutes. They got to do a much better job taking care of the basketball, having only taken 2 shot attempts in the game because they can't take care of the ball right now.
Yeah, that's the stat of the game for BYU. 5 turnovers, only 2 field goals attempted. Congdon skips to Davenport. Good look at a 3, misses the left side. Kendra Gillespie into the game for BYU with the offensive rebound, and that's what Gillespie brings to BYU, an immediate inside physical presence and a player who knows all about the Big 12 Conference. We'll take a timeout. 4:59 to play. Arizona with a...
They needed to get used to it. And she also said that they need to grow up overnight. This is their second year in the Big 12, and now they know what to expect. This is what they need, and they need to get used to it. Spencer?
Thank you, Jasmine. Amber Whiting told me yesterday, it's often been said, you don't know what you don't know until you're actually in it. And now that BYU's done it for a year, I feel like naturally they have better understanding of what to expect. Well, Arizona, unlike BYU, who was coming from the West Coast Conference, comes from the Pac-12. So the Wildcats know all about big-time basketball and Power 5 basketball. This is nothing new to them. Maybe a different style per se within the Big 12, which has this idea that it's more physical than the Pac-12. But my goodness, Does Arizona look the part of being a physical basketball team?
I would absolutely say yes. They check every box. Are they a young team? Yes, but they have so much talent, and they play with an aggressive energy and intensity every play, and that fits perfectly in the Big 12 because the pressure-type defense, playing with physicality, you got the good inside post players, the presence inside, and they can shoot from the outside. And BYU's a better three-point shooting team in this game, but you're seeing Williams evolve that shot on the outside and other players for this Arizona team.
Kendra Gillespie, 2 big free throws for BYU, who has really struggled to even get shots off in the early minutes of this game. That makes both, and the Cougars within 3 at 7-4. Here is Jones, good skip pass and a good look at a 3, but it's a little bit long. There's Gillespie with the tough defensive rebound, and she has the outlet to Gibb.
And I like that she didn't panic. She was double teamed on that rebound. Don't panic, get it to your guard.
Gibb almost got a very friendly bounce, but it falls off the front. Paris has Bay, and she'll hand off to Jada Williams. Williams terminates at the free throw line. Back to Paris, open 3. That one a little bit short. And the rebound and putback is good. Sonia Jaw checked into the game moments ago and already making an impact. Pushes the Wildcats lead back out to 5 at 9-4.
Well, you can see the athleticism that Arizona presents, that challenge on boxing out, but they can really stay up there. They anticipate well to go get that rebound and doing a fantastic job early with 3 offensive boards.
Gillespie, there is Jones, recovering quickly and knocking that out of bounds. While we have a moment, let's take a look at the head coach of Arizona women's basketball, Adia Barnes, in her 9th year, an Arizona product, coaching her alma mater, fastest Arizona coach to 150 wins. And BYU knows all too well what Arizona did in 2021 because the Cougars were in part a victim on the way to the Wildcats' run to a magical season.
National runner-up. And they're getting it done here on the road against BYU. When we talked to her, she said, it's not ideal. Our first game in the Big 12, we're on the road playing a very talented BYU team that presents a lot of problems, but they are the aggressor right now, and it's showing in how many turnovers they forced BYU into 5 turnovers. They do have 4 points off of that, and they're playing with a lot of intensity and energy.
Paris wanted to go inside to Cunningham, nothing there, so here is Sanaya Jah, who just scored, spinning, tough shot, altered by Davenport, who's a good defender in her own right for BYU. Mari Whiting open on the baseline, nobody home, and she left the layup short. I'm not sure BYU will have many easier looks than that, but the Cougars will get it right back, and a heads-up play by Brinley Cannon drawing the offensive foul.
Cannon in the right spot at the right time, knowing that the offensive player is going to come right into her off the dribble. And you see, she had plenty of time to react. Sometimes when you're taking a charge, if that offensive player doesn't have time to turn with their momentum, it'll go the other way. But Cannon, we got Cannon and Cambry Barber, the 2 freshmen defensive stars that come in, and Coach Whiting calls them her twins because they're very similar in what they bring in defensive intensity, and they've had a fantastic preseason to this point.
Well, the storyline to watch there is Skylar Jones on the offensive foul, picks up her 2nd personal foul and has to take an early seat here in the first quarter. The Wildcats get the stop on the missed 3 from BYU. Inside, tough little flip by Paris. She wanted a foul as well. It's 11-4. Wildcats, 2.5 to play in the opening frame.
The backcourt for this Arizona team is so strong, and we've talked a lot about Jada Williams, but Paris is crucial to what they do and really sets the tone by running in transition. And Kendra Gillespie trying to set her own tone down low, and boy, do they need that presence inside because they're having a hard time on the offensive side of the ball when they get in their half-court set.
Jaw collects. And a foul away from the basketball. That'll be charged to Cambry Barber, who bumped Jada Williams. 2nd team foul for BYU, 1st personal for Barber. Wildcats with 14 fouls. Reminder that if a team commits 5 fouls in any individual quarter, they will put their opponent on the free throw line shooting 2 for the remainder of period. And Paris, left open for a moment, promptly knocks it down.
Well, she's one of the more experienced players on this team. And again, this extended pressure just wreaking havoc. Barbara, the freshman, steps up to inbound the ball. So off of a make, BYU needs to remember that they can run that baseline. And she just was stagnant under the backboard and threw it right off the backboard.
And when that ball hits off the backside of the backboard on an inbound, immediate turnover given back to Arizona. Cougars with 6 first-quarter turnovers, trail by 8. Arizona basketball leading 14-6. Paris has hit some big buckets in the last few moments. Ja, a little too much mustard on that pass inside. And the giveaway back to the Cougars. 3rd turnover by the Wildcats. Here is Gibb. Paris isolated on her. Gibb calls for the screen from Calvert. There's the hedge. Calvert inside, lost it. Boy, Arizona just everywhere. Sanaya Ja battling for the basketball. It's still loose. Jada Williams picks it up before it goes out of bounds. And she'll dribble it around the horn back out near midcourt.
Well, they're jumping the screen defensively and double teaming it like a blitz, and BYU just not able to get a good pass out of that screen double.
Beautiful high-low entry from Ja to Cunningham, who had her defender sealed. And it's 16-6 under a minute to play.
Now, BYU just needs to settle down because they're playing right into what Arizona wants them to do. They're speeding up. Their passes aren't quite as crisp because they're getting the extended pressure. You see it right there, the big extending pressure.
Well, Calvert a little bit rushed on that shot attempt, just turning, and it's almost like she didn't even eye the hoop before the ball went up. So that shot was nowhere close. Out of bounds to Arizona after a little bit of a loose ball scenario there. 40.5 to play in the first quarter. Some substitutions for Coach Barnes and the Wildcats.
Well, Coach Barnes, a unique relationship with Coach Amber Whiting and Amari Whiting. She recruited Amari out of high school, and Amari went on an unofficial to Arizona, but they have a great relationship with the Whitings, and she was super happy to see that Amari, although she chose Oregon out of high school when her mom took the job, she's committed to her mom.
I know she likes Amari, but she loves Jada too.
Absolutely, and she is playing phenomenal right now. And boy, when you start to hit 1, 2 shots, the rim just gets bigger, and you can tell it's ginormous for her right now.
18-6. Jada Williams has hit a couple of really tough shots in this quarter. Amari Whiting, hesitation move. That's a big bucket for Whiting, who had struggled for much of this first quarter. Williams will offer it up from about 3/4 court. That's well short. But the Wildcats take a double-digit lead into the second quarter, 18-8. How about that? Welcome to Big 12 basketball for Arizona and their fans. They're loving it thus far. Big lead on the road in this early Christmas present of it.
As they come in out of the Pac-12 and with a style of play that fits very well in the Big 12, and I would say across the board for those 4 teams coming in, Colorado, Arizona State, Arizona, and Utah all fit the Big 12 very well.
Delaney Gibb trying to get going and does so right there. Awesome contact, so good specifically off the bounce to the bucket and on that right side. It brings BYU within 8, 18-10. Wildcats dominated that first quarter. BYU turned the ball over 7 times, largely because of that Arizona pressure, and Paris, Williams, and Cunningham did their thing for the Wildcats on offense. Here's Rolfe. And it'll be given to BYU. Last touch by Mylene Rolfe, the freshman from Germany.
Brindley Cannon did a really good job just using her length. It's 6'1" and just presenting a big force to shoot over with, not bailing out Rolfe on that shot.
Congdon has Gibb into a quick trigger 3. Delaney Gibb.
She got the
Paulina Paris really frustrated after that. Not sure if she was upset with a teammate or something that was supposed to happen from the bench, but Gibb with the quick trigger.
Well, they've allowed her to have 5 straight points, and they've keyed on her defensively, knowing she's offensively their best player.
Paris trying to answer back. That's long. Rebound secured by Davenport. She'll push it herself. Picked up by Dew to Whiting. Whiting thought about a 3, now attempts it. Touched every part of the rim partly down and then pops back out.
Just the slightest bit of hesitation, right, might take you out of rhythm, but they are not respecting her three-point range, and that's rightly so. She hasn't shot the three ball well, but Whiting's got to be ready to shoot.
Dew hands off to Rolfe. Bounce pass inside to Brea Cunningham. Cunningham, tough shot. I mean, she's shooting almost 70% from the floor, Kristen. Why would you not seek her out, and often?
67% from the floor. Good for 5th in the nation and leads the Big 12. Just incredibly efficient for Arizona.
And an important answer with BYU trying to pull some of that momentum on their home floor. Cunningham gets the bucket, 7-point advantage. And now we check in with Jasmine Papinga. Jasmine, what'd you hear in that last timeout?
Earlier this week when we talked to Coach Barnes, she described Jada Williams as a young leader with a tremendous amount of passion. In this past huddle, you could only see her emphasis and amount of passion in the game as her coach actually remained calm and composed. She was the one who was getting vocal and excited and wanted to just improve, even though they are playing well. Spencer.
Jones got it back. BYU looked like they had the stop they wanted, Kristen. Just tenacious play from the Wildcats. Pretty much sums up what they've done the entirety of the game. Will result in a foul and 2 free throws for Jones, who is back into the game of note with those 2 fouls.
Well, Jones does a really good job sticking with it. That miss comes right back to her and just relentless, going right back up. And seeing the first shot go down for her at the free throw line, and she was 0 for 3 to this point, but sometimes you just need to see the ball go through the hoop and get to the free throw line. She's a very physical player. Coach Barnes said she's probably one of our most athletic players on this squad.
Checking in for Arizona,
Jones, 2 free throws, and then she will check out. Adia Barnes, her coach, giving her some one-on-one coaching there on the sideline. 22-13. Again, the 2 free throw makes, extending the lead back out to 9. Whiting is Congdon. Kemery Congdon is bumped and fouled on her way to the hoop.
BYU in this quarter alone looks much more composed on the offensive side. They're patient, they're really reacting to the defense versus having a premeditated move that they're going to go into, and that's where a lot of the turnovers were coming and with that extended pressure, but now they're handling it. They've adjusted.
Calver turns, scores. She got the pass, turned right into the second opponent of a double team and somehow found the target.
Yeah, Isis Bay coming over to help out on that, and really solid defensively, just a tough shot.
Well, Bay looks at her bench and knows she got away. The pass was not great, but a foul is called as the pass was coming in.
Just a really solid defensive play from Arizona, but an even better offensive shot from Emma Calvert to just keep that ball high and go right up over Bay as Bay came over to help out.
Calvert checking out now after she picked up the foul after her bucket. 22-15 Wildcats with the basketball and the 7-point lead. Williams off the screen from Bay. Davenport defending. Now with 3 on the shot clock, Williams dribbles into a 3. A little bit long, Whiting with the rebound, and she will push. Rolfe got a hand on it to slow BYU's fast break attempt a little bit. Whiting, floater in the lane, hard off the glass. No good, but she's fouled, and Amari Whiting will head to the free throw line.
It's almost as if Whiting has kind of figured out where she can attack and when she can attack, depending on where her team is spaced, and those driving lanes and looking to penetrate off the bounce. And that's something that Whiting is so good at. Her preference is to put the ball on the floor, off the bounce, and get to the rim or dish those passes, but she's crucial to what they do on the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Whiting for the first of 2 free throws, and that one very short.
She's had her struggles at the free throw line, and that's continued this season to 62%. But
now 18 of 30, make it 18 of 31 on the season for Whiting as she misses both, but a lane violation called on Isis Bay.
See her mom fired up, Coach Whiting, put the ball in the hoop at the free throw line. These are gimme points, and
So Whiting takes advantage of the third opportunity after the lane violation and makes one of two. 22-16 BYU showing some full court pressure. Dew back to Bay. Williams, look at the ball moving inside. Cunningham, however, doubled over Gillespie. That's a forced shot. And not one you see Cunningham take too often.
BYU really good. Execution defensively. They're communicating, doing a much better job in this second quarter.
Gillespie, double comes. And a jump ball is called as Gillespie was turning over her left shoulder. Possession arrow to Arizona.
Fans wanted the foul on Cunningham. I think I agree with that because she was reaching on that initial pass in, but then at this point gets the tie up on the ball. Cunningham, such a force in there and so difficult to score over at 6'4" and just a sophomore. One of these tremendous sophomores that Coach Barnes has had. She's got an incredible sophomore class.
Here's Montea Dew back to Williams. Signals her offensive set off the screen from Bay. Jaw opts for Williams, back to Dew, and now the entry pass to Bay. And after she scrambles to save it, gives it right back to Amara Whiting. Whiting, another missed layup. Gibb with the putback, has it blocked by Dew. And here come the Wildcats. It's Lauren Swan.
Transition defense doing a really good job getting back and getting that ball, just fighting to not allow BYU to score. That was a huge key for Coach Barnes, is we got to get back because BYU loves to push the ball, particularly off those steals.
Isis Bay. Too strong off the glass. Was it last touched by Davenport or Jaw? And it is Sanaya Jaw ruled to have last touched that basketball. Cougars take over possession. We are at the under 5 timeout before halftime. BYU trying to chip away on their home floor. They trailed the Wildcats 22-16. NCAA women's basketball in a Saturday matinee. A Big 12 opener.
Freshman last year. And so just to have that experience and that 1 year, and they played the toughest schedule in the nation a year ago, up until the Pac-12 tournament when that kind of adjusted with USC. But this is a team that, although they're young, they have players that played big minutes last year. They brought in a couple transfers, 3 transfers, and a good mix of talent, a little bit of everything. But over the course of the season, it's growing pains.
Well, they just forced BYU's 9th turnover of the half. The Cougars turned it over 7 times in the first quarter. That's their 2nd turnover here in the second quarter.
That's what they do. They force 20 a game coming in, and they score off of those turnovers. It's a big part of their identity.
Williams, tough shot, offensive rebound, and putback is good from Brea Cunningham. The offensive glass are a specific area where Coach Barnes and Arizona feel like they can exploit against BYU. They have 5 offensive rebounds right now and 8 second chance points.
Cunningham with 8 points on that bucket. She's really settling in to just finding where she can find angles and use her footwork to be creative around the rim.
Good pass from Gibb. Congdon missed a rather easy shot inside from about 5 feet as that rims off.
They have limited opportunities because of the turnovers, so those are ones that you gotta drop in the basket.
Gillespie, and Cunningham whistled for the foul on the back of Gillespie. That's her 2nd personal.
That's a big one, and Gillespie had the advantage, did a really good job positioning herself for that board. So that's gonna be a 2nd foul on Cunningham.
Substitution as Isis Bay will replace Brea Cunningham. 8-point lead. Again, 2 fouls for Cunningham, 2 fouls for Skylar Jones. Well, some early foul trouble for the Wildcats. Let's check in with Jasmine Papinga quickly.
In the huddle, Coach Whiting was fired up, pointing at all the girls, saying that everybody needs to step it up now. From the sidelines, each of the coaches uses their hands with this movement, saying that they need to talk more on the defensive end of the court. Spencer?
Congdon. No good. The 3-point shooting woes really for both teams continue, but Congdon's going to try another one. That too short. Another offensive rebound. Barber can't score the putback. And the lid, in large part, remains on the bucket for BYU. Some good looks right there, Kristen, but BYU 1 of 8 as a team from the 3-point line. Gibb, the only BYU player to connect from distance, and Arizona 2 for 9.
You hear a lot of coaches emphasize good, better, best in shot selection, and those were great shots from BYU. Those were best opportunities. They just could knock it down.
Lauren Swan is fouled. A little bit of a late whistle there. BYU bench doesn't like that. And it will be a shooting foul, and Swan, one of those freshmen for the Wildcats out of Queens, New York, will head to the free throw line with a chance to put Arizona back up in front by double figures.
Swan averages about 19 minutes per game, and she's a player that comes in. She's scrappy, she's fast. That added point guard out there with Williams. Also Paris can really handle the ball, and several players defensively that can just get up in you, and Swan is one of those as well.
Swan makes 1 of 2. How about these shooting woes for both teams? BYU 1 for their last 9. Arizona 1 for their last 7 from the field. The Cougars are in an over 3-minute scoring drought currently.
Well, if you love defense, you're getting exactly what you came here for, and it has been a defensive juggernaut between these two.
Whiting, good find for Gibb. Delaney Gibb now has both of BYU's made 3-pointers and is the Cougars' leading scorer with 8. 25-19.
BYU at their best.
Gibb with a steal! And the Big 12 Freshman of the Week is into double figures scoring. And a burst of momentum and some life in the Marriott Center for BYU.
They are at their best when they are up in you defensively, as we've seen Arizona do to them, but BYU getting it done defensively, fueling that offense.
The Cougars force Arizona's 5th turnover and immediately turn it into points, but before that, Gibb, on the great vision from Amari Whiting to find her open shooter, knocks down her 2nd 3, and then now the steal, Kristen.
Oh, Gibb getting in the passing lanes, using that athleticism to get out there. That's why Williams needs to come to the basketball. A tough pass when you just stand and wait for it. But Gibb, 10 points now to lead all scorers. She's getting fired up and really engaged. You can see once she hits her first couple shots, she is ultra focused and something flips for her. And she just really lets the game come.
You mentioned the 10 points, couple of rebounds and an assist. Of note, that steal and score, BYU's first 2 points off of a turnover from Arizona, whereas the Wildcats have forced BYU into 9 turnovers and scored 8 points.
In their first fast break points, BYU, 22% of their offense comes on the fast break in transition, and that's where they just have not been able to get that going, but hopefully they can off of that steal from Gibb and the layup.
Paris holding. Paris had a big first quarter scoring, looking to add to it. High off the glass, battle for the rebound, and there's Gibb to collect and clean it up. Delaney Gibb pushing the tempo. Another 3 on the way, and another 3 down. 13 points for Delaney Gibb, and BYU has climbed back within 1 late in the 2nd quarter.
She is absolutely dialed in and taking over, and at this point, when she's shooting the ball that well and she is laser focused, there's no bad shot. Let her have that wide open green light.
Williams between the leg dribble. High arcing shot, rims out. Gillespie with the rebound. BYU can take a lead. 8-0 run in a minute and a half.
BYU a 16-7 advantage here in the 2nd quarter, a much better quarter.
Congdon for 3. It's an 11-0 run for BYU, and the Cougars have their first lead of the game at 27-25. Williams lost it. BYU looking to capitalize off yet another turnover here in the last few moments. Whiting looking for some help, finds Gibb. Behind the back dribble, Gibb on the baseline is bumped and fouled. That'll be the 4th team foul on Arizona, still 1 shy of putting BYU in the 2-shot bonus for the remainder of the half. And here's Congdon, Kristen.
Well, BYU 4 for 7 from distance in this quarter. Now they're dropping. They weren't dropping in that first quarter, but you can see the confidence is very contagious. Gibb hits a couple shots. Now Congdon is moving without the basketball, and she just gets more focused as the game goes on, but they need to continue to be ready to shoot, drive and attack, and kick it in on the outside.
Congdon. I don't know if she was quite ready for that pass from Gibb. They got it in a position to try and score and couldn't finish, and now I'm not sure how that's not a foul on BYU. Somehow Sanaya Jaw is called for the travel there, and she's frustrated, understandably.
And Barnes beyond herself, letting Lisa Jones, the other official, know. How is that not a foul? Watch right here. Yeah, it's a tough angle. I wonder if the hip and kind of leg of Delaney Gibb hit her. If from our angle, it looked like there was contact, but nonetheless, another turnover from Arizona. They now have 7.
Whiting has that ball swatted out of her hands and out of bounds. Paulina Paris.
Cougars playing with so much more confidence on the offensive side. It's almost as if they figured out, okay, where do we have the advantage now when that pressure comes? Can we put it on the deck, attack the pressure, and then spray? It's what they call spray, and find our shooters. Move without the ball into a space where you can get a good look.
Watch it live on ESPN and ABC. A couple of winners already through. Last night, Notre Dame beating Indiana rather convincingly, and Penn State, more of the same against SMU. Both of the home teams winning big. BYU back here, the women's basketball side, trying to protect their home court. How about this? Cannon knocks down the latest 3 from BYU, and it's a 14-0 run.
BYU continues to thrive with excellent shot selection, and it's that drive and kick. It's an effective recipe for BYU.
Sanaya Jaw cannot connect. 2 and 1, and Gabe will just dribble out the clock. What a finish to the half for the BYU Cougars. They trailed 18-8 at the end of the first quarter, and then outscore Arizona in the second 10 minutes, 22-7, to jump back in front by 5.
14-0 run in those 3 minutes, and it really was patience offensively and giving up a good look or maybe a forced look on the drive to their shooters on the outside. They shot the 3 ball excellent in that second frame. There's in terms of getting them to respond, right? It's about getting them to adjust, but you have to find a way to connect and get them to respond, and BYU's done a really good job of that.
Well, Coach Whiting kind of laughed when we asked her that question. Said, you know what, I don't know. I yell a lot.
I don't throw stuff. I don't, but I definitely get fired up.
Yeah,
and
I yell a lot. There's a backdoor cut from Congdon, and a near takeaway by Arizona. Whiting into some traffic, in trouble, finds Calvert, open for 3, no, but they're gonna wave it off and say 3 seconds in the key. Charge to Amari Whiting and BYU, so the Cougars open up the second half in the third quarter with their 10th turnover of the game.
Well, you just see the swarming defense collapse once BYU right in the heart of the defense, right? They're trying to get that slash cut or attack right to the middle, but the defense, the double team comes and forcing the turnover.
Isis Bay. Paulina Paris on the bounce. Doesn't like what she sees, so she'll circle out and signal a different play. Shot clock winding down to 3, 2, 1. Floater from the baseline. And Cunningham had it for a moment, but it was knocked out of her hands on the rebound attempt. Whiting in transition has her shot swatted out of bounds by the retreating Cunningham. BYU basketball to inbound baseline right.
Cunningham does a really good job just in transition, getting back. She averages close to 2 blocks per game, so utilizing that size.
Look at Jones harassing Delaney Gibb on the inbound pass. Gibb to Whiting, cycled to Davenport. Davenport dribbles inside, and a reach-in foul will be issued to Isis Bay.
As you evaluate the first minute for BYU, too much dribbling. I would say way too much dribbling, and when you're dribbling and attacking, there's so many hands that are coming in, pinching in. So ball movement, that's what's important. Player movement, ball movement, whip that ball around.
Gibb, backdoor cut, scores it.
And there you go.
What a heads-up play with the aggressive hands in the passing lanes. Backdoor cut and a layup.
A perfect pass, a timely pass where she didn't have to take a dribble. She didn't have to put the ball down the court because the defense didn't have time to adjust with her just going right up.
Paris, left-handed swing over to Bay on the left wing. Hands off to Williams. Shot clock again, getting dangerously low. Bay to Cunningham, good interior passing, and an important bucket for Arizona.
Oh, Isis Bay, really good job. Her patience. She's a local product out of Murray High School.
Gibb, transition three, well long. Well, that bucket, by the way, ended, if we add the first bucket of the second half onto what BYU did in the first half, a 16-0 run for the Cougars.
And there's that adjustment from Arizona, right? They're doing a good job finding shooters. That was something that they struggled with in that second frame of getting out, contesting three-point shots, but much better start here in the third.
Strong move by Skylar Jones. Calvert, right wing three, at 2. Basically misses everything and breaks hard off the glass.
And that's a shot Calvert can definitely knock down. She's shooting 36% from distance, but way off the mark.
Cunningham turns and scores around Calvert. And Amber Whiting senses the shift in momentum. Quick timeout on the floor. 7:15 to play in the third quarter. And Arizona within 1 at 32-31. We'll take the break. The Wildcats giving BYU a taste of their own medicine in the third quarter. 0.6, very balanced scoring. 4 who average double figures for the Wildcats.
And it can be any one of those players on any given night, right? Cunningham can be the leading scorer, Williams can be the leading scorer, Paris, and it's a benefit for this team. And on the other side, it's the same for BYU, or they've had several leading scorers in each game.
Davenport, wide open 3 from the left wing. That one rims off, so the Cougars have gone cold here early in the third quarter. And that's just a frustrating miscommunication by Arizona, looking to get out quickly, given right back to BYU. Errant outlet pass, and that is the 9th turnover of the game for Arizona to BYU's 10.
This is where BYU needs to capitalize off of those turnovers and execute offensively.
Williams making it difficult for Amari Whiting. Davenport over to Gibb. Gibb back to Davenport, who will dribble to the left wing and give to Whiting in a double team. Flips it over to Davenport. Gibb, backdoor cut, but that pass too far in front of her, and well, the teams exchange turnovers. Gibb, transition 3, good! Nothing working for BYU outside of Delaney Gibb.
A transition 3, and the green light is there for those players to take that shot. You see the space. Congdon did a really good job. Once she got that turnover, to just kick that ball right up the sideline.
Williams, a 2, short, rebounded by Davenport. Congdon has Gibb. Baseline, dribble. She'll switch up sides of the floor and go back to Whiting with 17 on the shot clock. BYU back in front by 4 after Delaney Gibb's latest 3. The 4th of her 4. And they're going to say that's off the fingertips of Gillespie on the entry pass. So the 12th turnover from BYU as we look at Delaney Gibb's 3.
Tough spot to be in if you're Arizona. You turn the basketball over, and then you got to recover and find shooters in transition, and just too late to close out to Gibb.
Brinley Cannon and Cambry Barber check in for BYU, which will put the point guard duties in the hands of Delaney Gibb. Amari Whiting and Davenport taking a breather. Jada Williams across the timeline. Bounces to Bay. Bay will dribble and hand off to Skylar Jones. Jones, crossover dribble. Tough move in the lane. Some contact, wanted a foul, doesn't get it, but it will be out of bounds and stay with Arizona. 14 seconds on the shot clock.
That's a good no call, and that's how it's been officiated the entire game. They've been allowed to be a little physical and bump each other a little bit, but Barber using her length to be disruptive.
Jones to Williams. Bounce pass to Bay. BYU's defense there. Shot clock at 2. Jones, tough left-handed floater.
She's got some vert on her and just able to rise above to take a tough shot, as you mentioned. Shot clock going down. They needed something.
Cannon will hand off to Gibb. Gibb dribbles into a 3. Unbelievable! Delaney Gibb unconscious. 5 3-pointers, 21 points, and single-handedly answering Arizona's push in the third quarter.
Those 21 points, she's coming off her career high 26 that she had last Saturday against Washington State. She's on pace to definitely break that record again.
Williams around Calvert, bumped with the hip. And that'll be BYU's first team foul of the third quarter. And Calvert's third personal foul.
Not sure Jones even located the rim on that shot. That's a big one. We got a great one here. BYU 38, Arizona 33. We'll be back in a moment. And she's playing like it. She continues to be consistent for BYU and get better and better. And even though she didn't score in the first quarter, she wasn't forcing shots. She just kind of decided to take over in the second frame, and she's a dynamic player for BYU.
She is the reigning Big 12 Freshman of the Week. This game making a case to hold on to that title for at least another week. Williams is fouled quickly out of the timeout.
Jada Williams coming into this game averages 12 points per game, but she's been held to just 5, 2 for 8 before. BYU's done a really good job defensively on her, and it's been starting with Amari Whiting, Delaney Gibb, but other players will switch on to her. There you go. That's the shot that she needed. She needs to get herself going and insert herself offensively.
Smooth jumper from the baseline right. Williams now with 7 points, and Williams is called for a foul. Chasing Delaney Gibb, the official right in front of us saying you cannot grab her. So Williams assessed the foul.
Watch right here, you see the arm grabbing that left, with her left arm grabbing Delaney Gibb's right arm. And Williams thought that she was held off by Gibb, and so trying to argue her case, Coach Barnes continues to talk to the ref about it.
Just the first foul on Jada Williams, second team foul for Arizona in the third quarter. Gibb flips it over to an open Kemery Congdon. And Congdon a little bit long, offensive rebound, Brendan Cannon, the putback and score.
Patience from the freshman, just a heads-up play, knowing that you got players surrounding her that were wanting to go for the block, and took her time going back up on that follow.
Jones again splitting the defense and scoring with the left hand. Skylar Jones taking on a bigger role here, scoring in the third quarter. Again, a 3-point game.
It's difficult to defend with that left hand and being able to finish tough shots around the rim as BYU travels. Kemery Congdon called for the travel. She was coming up top to take that shot. Cougars now with 13 turnovers.
Congdon shuffling her feet as she's settled into that shot. Officials all over it. And as you said, Kristen, 13 BYU turnovers after that most recent traveling violation. 3:25 to play in the third quarter. Give and go. Williams had her shot partially blocked by Cambry Barber. BYU 5-on-4 for the moment. Amari Whiting finds Cannon. Unselfish pass. Barber for 3. Just short. Isis Bay with the big rebound for Arizona.
That's the look you want. In transition, Whiting does a really good job on the skip pass and an extra pass for a wide open look.
Cunningham. Baby hook won't go. Rebounded by Barber. Gibb has Cannon in transition. Does a good job just to stay in bounds. Whiting steps into a 3. That 2 misses left side. And the rebound by Montea Dew. For the first time this game, Kristen, Arizona looks a little bit gassed. With their style of play, it's understandable.
Yeah, something that is really effective is that altitude and how it affects teams. BYU needs to lean into that and take care of this home court. And, you know, as you look at the Big 12 as a whole, the overall record for home games was 108-8. A tough shot inside by Cunningham, but it's essential to take care of your home floor in this Big 12 because you go on the road, it is difficult to win.
Cunningham gets the better of Gillespie in that one-on-one post matchup to pull the Wildcats within 1. Gibb forced to pass. Dew with the steal, and Arizona with the ball and a chance to take the lead back.
Here you see Dew and Cunningham just struggling to get up the floor, as you mentioned, gassed.
Cunningham, good move, little hesitation. And Arizona back in front, 41-40. That outscored BYU in this third quarter, 16-10, 1:44 to play in the third.
Rhea Cunningham now with 16 points on 8 for 12 from the floor. She's got 6 boards to go with that. And even though she might be a little gassed, she's effective.
And Whiting, good move to get to the hoop again. Kristen, she just cannot finish the layups, and it's been a point of concern for much of the year.
And those are ones you need. Yeah, those are the ones right around the rim you got to finish.
Air ball from Williams. Bay with the offensive rebound. Jones. into Gillespie, offensive foul.
What a play from KJ. Kendra Gillespie in the right spot as she's helping the pick and roll action. And watch right here, as she's protecting, that's her job. As she's guarding Cunningham, she's that second level help protecting and hitting the deck. That's a momentum builder for BYU that they need to build off of.
Third foul on Skylar Jones, so she is forced to the bench with those 3 fouls. Sanaya Jaw is back in, replacing Brea Cunningham. Rolfe also into the game for Arizona. Mari Whiting just 1 for 7 shooting today, and the 3 points picked up by Williams. Around the screen from Hampson, and Whiting missed another relatively easy shot that she has made a bunch of in her career.
And that's when I thought, finish with the left hand. I think she was trying to go with the right, just a little bit of a floater, but use your right hand, keep the defense off of you. You don't want to extend the elbow, but finish with that left hand. You had a great look.
Whiting now 1 for 8, and BYU still trails by 1. Arizona looking to build on their lead here in the 3rd quarter. Jaw, tough shot, rebound ripped away by Cannon. Has Whiting. Whiting will retreat near midcourt.
Coach Lee Kamar is the associate head coach and has taken over the offense this season, really wants to make sure they're efficient. So he backs them up. Let's get a good look and work this clock down.
About a 1 second difference between the game clock and shot clock. Whiting flips it to Hampson. Shot blocked out of bounds. Good idea. 2.7 on the shot clock after that was blocked out of bounds. And BYU will have another quick trigger opportunity at the end of the 3rd quarter, trying to take the lead back as we will head to the final 10 minutes. Whiting the inbound baseline right. Wants Barber inside. Tough move. Cambry Barber to beat the shot clock buzzer.
I think there's a clock issue here. The fans wanted the turnover on Arizona because they stepped over that baseline line. The miscommunication here. Watch, massive move from Barber, the freshman, true freshman in there, just muscling that up. The will to score, and BYU needed that. Look at that, 2 defenders on her, and just collects herself with the dribble and goes up strong. Big move from the freshman.
Conversation happening with the officiating crew. Both teams have gathered around their respective benches. Now an explanation forthcoming.
The clock stopped at 0.5 seconds, and it should not have, so we are going to the monitor to determine if the time on the clock should have expired.
Well, there you have it. BYU fans were arguing because they saw Jaw step over the baseline, which would be an immediate turnover back to BYU, but obviously some confusion with the clock, so I believe it'll be Arizona basketball, just a matter of how much time Arizona will have on the clock. We'll see.
When Arizona, to their credit, heard the buzzer go off, right? And so they kind of altered what they were doing. So watch right here. You can see that she gets the shot off plenty of time. And then they go to take it out of bounds. That's when you hear the buzzer, and Joss stepped right over the line. You can see her step.
So the ball, one, clearly out of the hands of Cambry Barber. And it looked like there was about 1.2-ish. BYU for the moment with a 1-point lead at 42-41. And they're just going to wipe off the time. Okay. So they're going to say that the clock essentially should have just kept running. Thus, they send both teams to their benches.
It was determined that the time had expired before the whistle blew.
Okay. Well, a little bit of a head scratcher, but we'll go to the fourth quarter. BYU in front by the slimmest of margins on their home floor. in a critical Big 12 opener. Pre-Christmas NCAA women's basketball have come from Delaney Gibb, the Big 12 Freshman of the Week, 8 of 12 shooting, 5 3-pointers. Jada Williams, our impact performer to watch on the Arizona side, 7 points, just 3 of 11 from the field, but very much a floor general. And she has played all 30 minutes, Kristen.
And they've done those numbers in just 2 quarters because Williams did not score in the second. Delaney Gibb did not score in the first.
Good pass inside from Cunningham to the cutting jaw.
Great execution out of that quarter break. That's exactly what this coach, Adia Barnes, needs to get from her team. And they're young, and that's where to win games, you have to execute down the stretch.
Sanaya Ja with 4 points after that latest bucket to give Arizona the lead. Amari Whiting cut off baseline right into Davenport. Tough shot in some traffic. And a big stop for Arizona.
Arizona, big advantage, points in the paint, 28-18, and you just don't see that with BYU. This is a team that really does a good job scoring in the paint, but they have struggled to finish and connect in the key.
Arizona did what very few teams have been able to do in that third quarter. Williams, long on the 3, tracked down by Whiting. And that is continuing on with that thought, outscore BYU in the third quarter. They do so 16-12 after BYU dominated the second quarter 22-7. BYU trying to take the lead back, 8:35 to play in the game. Whiting has Gibb with her 21 points. Picked up by Williams, who has to understandably be gassed after playing every minute. Gibb into some contact. Whistles stay quiet. Jaw. Skip pass. Jones inside. Unselfish. Cunningham. And one opportunity.
Skylar Jones, a heads-up play right here because she could have taken that 3. Let's get a better shot inside with Cunningham, who had decent position going against Calvert. And Cunningham shoots 67% from inside. So beautiful, unselfish pass to Cunningham, who has an opportunity at a 3-point play the old-fashioned way.
Brea Cunningham with 18 points, 9 of 13 shooting. We're impressed with Delaney Gibbs, 8 of 13. Cunningham's done one better, and she finishes off the 3-point play. It's 46-42.
Cunningham has scored in double figures in every game this season but one. She's coming off of that single-digit game, Weber State, where she got into some foul trouble.
Gibb gets ahead of Williams, little floater. Doesn't crawl over the rim, offensive rebound, Gillespie, and the putback score. Big bucket for BYU.
She just moves people. She is so strong in there. Really good around the rim. Left, right finish.
Gillespie with 6 points, 5 rebounds. Jones, errant pass. Oh, and it was touched on the fingertips perhaps by somebody on the BYU side. The official right there, very quickly pointing it out, saying it'll stay with the Wildcats. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Offensively, so much movement from the Wildcats right there. And can you see Barber? Looks like she kind of tried to pull her hand back, but may have tipped that ball out of bounds.
Looked like it might have caught her pinky. Jones to Williams, shot clock winding down, 3 on the way, no good. And Ja thought she might have been fouled on the rebound attempt. BYU basketball trailing by 2, 46-44.
We're pretty much locked at rebounds. BYU with 30 on that one, but 29 for Arizona. And that was a big key emphasis coming into this one, to win the rebound battle and create extra opportunities, but also eliminate opportunities by securing the defensive board.
Barber, good hesitation move. And on the jump stop, shuffled her feet, and a travel and a critical turnover at that for BYU.
Part of that is timing, where Barber's, you got to cut weak side and give her an outlet to pass to. When she's stuck, defense stops her, gets in the paint, which is what she needs to do off the bounce. But then players around her, there's no movement.
15th turnover for BYU in the game, 11 for Arizona, under 7 to play. Wildcats with the basketball, leading by 2. Williams. Oh, man. It's been a frustrating afternoon offensively in large part for Jada Williams, but taking out some of that frustration with an aggressive take at the rim. Gillespie is fouled by Cunningham. No, jump ball. Gillespie frustrated, thought that Cunningham was on her back when she got the pass.
Watch right here with, whoa, there's a lot of contact on the arm, and I think she was able to strip the ball and kind of tie it up, but I can understand why these BYU fans are frustrated.
Well, you have to think that BYU is going to need to find another scoring option aside from Delaney Gibb if they're going to win this game. Arizona too disciplined, too defensive-minded to let, you would think, one player beat them, although Gibb with another incredible individual effort there to get to 23 points on the game and pull BYU back within 2.
Well, and as you mentioned, it's Brinley Cannon with 5 next up. So they just have not had enough offensive production from anybody else to take the pressure off of her, but she continues to get to the rim and hit shots.
Jaw. Cannon with the steal up ahead. Gibb trying to track it down behind the back pass, or rather over the head pass, and BYU very fortunate that that goes off of Arizona and stays with the Cougars.
A tough pass for Gibb to handle as it was way out in front of her, but she knew that Cannon was coming behind her, so let me just try and get this over my head to her. And Cannon with the hustle, even though she wasn't able to collect the ball, it stays with BYU because of that extra effort.
Substitution for BYU, Emma Calvert will replace Kendra Gillespie.
Coach Whiting, as Calvert's running on the court, saying, go be tough. I need you to be tough inside. Cunningham has had the advantage in there against the BYU bigs the entire game, as Cunningham has 19 points.
Tough pass inside to Gibb, who is bumped and fouled by Jones. That's her 4th.
A late whistle from the officials, but there was clear contact across the face of Delaney Gibb as she was cutting under the basket.
That's just wrong place, wrong time for Skylar Jones.
She's trying to help right here. And
looks like her legs got tangled up a little bit.
There you see Mariah Hudgins on the end of the bench, fired up as well. She's a player they're missing for this BYU squad, and they hope to get her back soon, but out with that knee injury as she's recovering.
Barber, huge 3 for Cambry Barber. BYU back in front by 1, 49-48. We were just saying somebody else for BYU needs to take and make a big shot. For the moment, it's from Barber.
We've talked so much about the youth of Arizona, but BYU with 3 true freshmen out there right now getting it done.
Williams, not the best shot selection for Arizona, and they've done a much better job in this game of doing that. But that has plagued them at times this season, of taking rushed shots at times, and Whiting is fouled going to the hoop.
Well, this is confidence right now, and that's what you get out of Cambry Barber, and you've seen it with Brinley Cannon and Delaney Gibb, who's unconsciously confident when she's playing out there. But you gotta love it and love the effort. And the drive by Whiting puts herself at the free throw line because she went aggressively on that left side, and she did try to go up with the left hand and drew the contact.
The 62% free throw shooter Whiting drops in the first in a day that has been very frustrating for her offensively. Just 1 of 9 from the field. Does have 5 assists and only 2 turnovers. And she is perfect on both of those free throws. 51-48, 5 points for Whiting. Her 2 biggest coming from the free throw line just seconds ago. 5 minutes to play in the game, and BYU with a 3-point lead.
Now it comes down to who can execute at the higher level. Offense, defense.
Gibb with a steal. Lost it on the way to the hoop, and it'll go back to Arizona. Wow. Every possession critical, no doubt about it. 4:40.
And one of the top players in the conference, and fun to watch.
How about the BYU freshman leading BYU here late in this game? The Cougars are on a 7-0 run. They now lead by 3 at 51-48. 4:27 to play. Jones forces up a tough shot that doesn't hit anything, and BYU gets a critical defensive stop.
Against no other than Barber, another freshman out there. As you mentioned, the contributions from 3 true freshmen for BYU. They've combined for 33 of the 51 points.
Here's Whiting collecting from Barber. 7 on the shot clock. Dribbles away from the screen. Now 4 and 3. Whiting to Barber. Shot clock winding down. Short. Offensive rebound, Barber. Back to Calvert. Wide open 3. That's just long. Whoa, the Wildcats dodge a major bullet there.
Wide open look from Emma Calvert, who hasn't been able to find the mark from distance in this game. She's missed all of her 3-point attempts.
Jada Williams. Opts for Bay. Here is Rolfe. Shot clock getting low for Arizona. Rolfe lost it on the way to the bucket, and is it knocked out of bounds or a foul?
Knocked out of bounds, so they're going to say off BYU, but just 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Arizona to inbound, baseline right. Rolfe goes to Williams with 3 and 2 on the shot clock. Floater is good. Jada Williams at her season average of 11 points after a huge bucket.
She didn't hesitate. She knew she had to go and get to the rim and make something happen. Shot clock going down.
Congdon still can't find the mark. Offensive rebound. Putback is swatted. Jump ball between Cambry Barber, or is that Cannon? It is Barber.
There's that twins, right? You know why he calls them the twins? Because they look so similar. That blonde hair, same size, and just the grit that she shows on the court. Cunningham with a beautiful block to protect the rim, but Barber, she always plays hard.
Well, the jump ball gives the possession arrow to Arizona, and the Wildcats now with the basketball and a chance to take the lead back, and even 3 minutes to play. It's a 51-50 game. We said up the top of the broadcast, this is a coin flip game. We expect it to be close, and it is close. Rolfe around the screen from Cunningham. Brea Cunningham turning, no good. She stays at 19 points on the day. Gibb has Whiting in transition. Amari Whiting, floater, no good. Offensive rebound, no. Calvert in there battling with Cunningham, and Cunningham rips away the defensive rebound. Rolfe.
Cunningham is such a beast inside, and she plays so physical, but she's winning every rebound. She's going to get the ball. She's doing her job offensively. You can tell she's gassed. I mean, she's played a lot of minutes in this game and just been so effective offensively, but defensively, she got 7 rebounds and doing a really good job of limiting Calvert in this game to just 4 points.
So a flop warning was just called on BYU after the turnover, or in the midst of the turnover by Arizona. The Wildcats have now given it away 14 times. BYU was 16 giveaways, make it 17. Jones, Congdon retreating, and a foul! Skylar Jones.
6-foot sophomore does a really good job of jumping the passing lane. We've seen her do this several times in this game. And then the finish, I mean, you can see the contact, and she finishes through it. Watch right here, Congdon gets ball. Wait, was that just ball?
It's Gibb on the arm. I believe they're going to whistle the foul, and Gibb did get her arm later in the play, so the foul goes to Delaney Gibb.
What a tough shot.
Wow. 52-51, Jones completes the 3-point play, and Arizona back in front by 2. Congdon ahead. BYU trying to sneak behind that Arizona defense and get a bucket back quick. Calvert turns, can't score with the left hand, and Emma Calvert's offensive woes, like many of these BYU veterans, continue. She's 2 for 6.
They're negative 12 points in the paint, and Arizona's just had that advantage, and the big reason is Brea Cunningham.
Offensive foul called on Isis Bay. The official saying that she stuck her hip out with a BYU defender coming around.
Well, she definitely did. She turned and pivoted, but did she do that in enough time before Amari Whiting came off it. I think that's really the question, but the official nonetheless called it offensive. That's a big break for BYU, and they need to capitalize because they have been struggling to execute offensively in the last couple possessions.
Whiting looks to Calvert, leaves it short again. Well, BYU getting some looks that they want inside, but Emma Calvert unable to convert the last 2 trips down the floor. 1:20 to play in the game. Arizona with the ball and a 2-point lead. Rolfe gives back out to Williams. Arizona content to let that shot clock wind down. It's 6 now, and a bump from Whiting. How to push the shot clock back to 20. It's the 3rd team foul on BYU and 2nd personal on Amari Whiting. So no free throws for Arizona. In fact, both teams still need to commit 2 more fouls each to put the other in the 2 free throw bonus.
So you don't put them on the line, but the shot clock resets at 20. So you're giving Arizona more time to milk the clock and utilize the advantage offensively. And really, you don't want to foul. Even though you're not playing, if you don't foul, you got to play straight up D. Make them take a tough shot.
Here come the other 2 key freshmen for BYU in this game. Cannon and Barber back into the game to join Delaney Gibb.
And they're in there for defense. They need to defend and get a stop.
10 seconds on the shot clock, under a minute to play. Williams collects 35 feet away straight away. With 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Williams jumper short. BYU got the stop. Amari Whiting with the basketball.
Tough shot for Williams over the extended size, over 6 foot, and then the arms up to try to make that shot for BYU.
Whiting left open, 17-footer, good! Tied at 53, 32 seconds to play. Amari Whiting. Just 2 of 11.
Cambry Barber and Delaney Gibb.
Well, Arizona has dominated in points in the paint, but BYU out shooting Arizona from the 3-point line. 8 makes for the Cougars, 2 for the Wildcats. Here we go, tied at 53. Williams into the lane, tough shot, off the rim, Cunningham, putback is good. She's got 21, timeout BYU.
Brea Cunningham has absolutely been tremendous inside, cleaning up the glass, so efficient, 10 of 15. She's got 21 points, and look at her just go get this over the freshman and finish. The officials have been letting them play. I like that they let this play out. Cunningham keeps it high, using her size at 6'4" to finish, and that's what she's done the entire season. This is just a sophomore, folks, and she's an incredible player.
Her head coach said she had a very intentional and purposeful offseason to put her into this beast mode. You know what's wild is 10 of 15 from the field, Kristen, is actually under her season average by 1%.
Hard to believe, it's 67% coming in.
8 rebounds as well for Cunningham.
That's still a lot of time for BYU. 21 seconds, a lot of time. But they have got to finish. When you attack, you get to the rim. Arizona with just 3 team fouls. They've got that 1 to give before they would put BYU on the line.
Well, Arizona thought that they might have an advantage in the offensive rebounding category in this game. It hasn't been as significant as maybe we thought it would be, but it did happen right there with interior play. Offensive rebound, Cunningham grabbing the miss from Jada Williams and scoring it.
Yeah, we've been very close in almost every category as you go down the board. But the points in the paint stand out. Arizona with that advantage, 36-22. BYU with bench points advantage. We talked about the freshmen, how they've stepped up off the bench. A 16-5 advantage there. We're locked in rebounds just about. It has been a fun matchup to start out Big 12 play.
Well, I would imagine Arizona's probably going to try and double team Delaney Gibb here and force somebody else to beat them. Gibb is the inbounder with 21.1 to play. We'll see who gets it for BYU. It is inbounded to Calvert. Back to Gibb. Gibb gives to Congdon for 3. Too long. Rebound grab by Cunningham. Jump ball. Possession arrow to BYU. Wow. The Cougars will get another shot here with 12.6 to play in the game, trailing by 2.
What a break for BYU. Watch the freshman Gibb go up and to stick with this, to tie the ball up, giving BYU another opportunity.
Whiting to inbound, baseline right. Had Congdon open, opts for Calvert out front. Davenport with 10. They go to Gibb with 9 and 8. Gibb, shot, too strong. Rebounded by Rolfe, and she is fouled with 2.3. BYU got a decent look. Gibb misfires. And now Arizona, 2 free throw makes away from icing this game away and picking up their first ever Big 12 win in women's basketball, and doing so on the road. Timeout, Wildcats. 30-second timeout.
What a tough break for Delaney Gibb, who's had a tremendous game with those 23 points. I almost wonder if she should have taken just one more dribble to just get a tad bit closer to the rim so she could try and finish. But I like this, where you're allowing the hot hand to just get to the rim. You see just how far away she is. Maybe one extra dribble to position herself a little bit closer to the rim. But it's tough.
It's hard to ask for more than that. I mean, that's a shot that is absolutely in Delaney Gibb's wheelhouse. That little floater in the lane, and not much defense there either. Just the shot doesn't drop, and now Arizona
and a big rebound.
Will have the basketball, and I stand corrected. I thought that was the 15th foul on BYU to put the Wildcats on the free throw line. That's only the 4th on BYU, so the Cougars, as it stands, have to commit one more foul, and that'll take even more time off the clock. They may be adjusting the time on the clock and making sure that there is a little bit added onto it to signify when that foul was committed. I'm seeing in front of me in the monitor that the officials were looking at 3.2. They put it to 2.9.
And they are shooting. No, they're not. They're taking the ball right here. So it almost looked like they were going to line up for free throws. It needs to be quick. If you're BYU, you got to foul quickly. Arizona needs to get the ball in bounds and hold on, knowing the foul is coming.
Jada Williams is Arizona's best free throw shooter, so the Cougars, they will foul Williams, an 88% free throw shooter. She's 39 of 44 on the season.
That's who you want on the line for the Wildcats. Let her step up. She's their fearless leader. Just a sophomore. Hard to believe she's a sophomore because she plays like a grad student or a senior and just very composed out there. And she's had her shooting woes in this game, but she has come through down the stretch.
She has attempted the most free throws of any player on this Arizona team this season with the 44 attempts. They're going to look at the clock again to make sure that they have just the right time.
Should stop.
Well, BYU does have one timeout left if Williams misses a free throw, and she missed one. So the Cougars not dead yet.
And with that timeout, they've got to get this ball, or if the shot goes in, they can call it.
Missed them both. Timeout.
Too much time off the clock. They're going to have to adjust that. Once again, I think too much time came off the clock.
And are they going to come over and make another adjustment at the scorer's table?
And that's where the opportunity for BYU to get a two-point shot right here just to tie it. You don't have to shoot a three.
Well, and again, you advance the basketball if you have a timeout in the final minute. So BYU has it on their offensive side of the floor with 1.5. Incredible.
If you're Arizona, you have a foul to give, but you do not want to foul on a shot.
Congdon to inbound with Cunningham standing in front of her from the sideline. BYU looking for, and Congdon throws it off of Cunningham. Oh, and it lands on Congdon!
My goodness. The fact that they just could not even get the ball in bounds.
Oh my goodness.
Well, watch this right here. Maybe go to Davenport really quickly as she took her head off of what they were doing, but trying to throw it off. Cunningham hits off her own leg.
Now Arizona can essentially inbound this basketball and secure the win. Wild finish here.
Should have gone to Davenport right there. Davenport was open just enough.
Kemery Congdon, a very solid and veteran player. Understandably, going to be haunted by that one for a little bit.
You know, and really the turnovers as a whole for this BYU team that they struggled with over the course of the game. 18 turnovers, 17 points off the turnovers for Arizona.
Due to inbound, Bay will lay it in at the buzzer, and Arizona victorious in their first ever Big 12 game. A huge road win in Provo for the Wildcats, 57-53.
What a gutsy